segment on SmackDown. Jimmy Uso comes in and makes the save. He attacks pretty deadly. After that, Solo Sikoa immediately comes in and takes out Jimmy Uso. He tries to go for the spike, but what happens is Jey Uso gets up and blocks. He blocks Solo Sikoa from hitting the spike on his own twin brother. After that, Jimmy tries to super kick Solo, but what happens? Solo ducks and super kicks Jey instead. Holy fucking shit. After that, Theory is back into the ring. He covers Jey, wins the match, and Austin Theory retains the United States Championship. After that, Paulie Dangerously, the wise man, Paul Heyman, and Solo Sikoa are on the outside of the ring staring at Jey Uso. Jimmy Uso is just trying to explain things to Jey Uso, and what happens is Jey pushes Jimmy, and Jey retreats, and he looks at Paul Heyman and Solo Sikoa. Paul Heyman immediately tells Jey Uso, "I'm sorry." And then Paul Heyman is on the phone. Jey Uso walks off, and he calls Roman Reigns, and the show ends. Holy shit. A lot of things escalated in this main event, per se, for the U.S. title. Now, at the top of this review, I told you guys that I immediately thought that on this show, Jey Uso was going to beat Austin Theory for the U.S. title. But, of course, I later on thought, hey, man, if Jey Uso won this match, it would have been great. But then where do we go on from there? If Jey Uso lost this match like he did, it's only going to further elevate the story of Jey Uso leaving the Bloodline. And that is exactly what happened in this segment. Of course, Paul Heyman has that look and says, "I'm sorry, Jimmy. I'm sorry, Jey. I'm sorry, Jey." But then Paul Heyman gets on the phone and calls Roman Reigns. What the hell is he saying? I have absolutely no idea. That's been a common occurrence throughout the past couple of months. But what can we expect for the future months with this storyline heading into Money in the Bank and heading into the summer, of course, where we have SummerSlam? Now, it honestly can go many different ways. You know, of course, Jimmy Uso was the one that pulled the trigger. I've always stated, even when Sami Zayn was still, a part of the group, and then, of course, he got excluded out of the group at the Royal Rumble, that Jey Uso is the catalyst to all of this whole thing, because he was the guy that faced Roman, and he was the guy that fell in line back in the fall of 2020 during the pandemic. Now, when it comes to Jimmy Uso, Jimmy Uso throughout this entirety of this whole story, he was kind of the chill dude, but now they're kind of giving Jimmy his own story. And Jimmy, honestly, a lot of people are saying, could we be seeing a future title match between Jimmy and Roman Reigns, maybe at Money in the Bank? I have absolutely no idea, man. Could we go down that road? Maybe. I hear some other people saying, hey, what if maybe next week on SmackDown, we have the whole celebration that they're going to be having with Roman Reigns, since he's going to be making his return to the show, even though he's only been off for a whole week. And, it leads to Jey Uso leaving the Bloodline, because that's what it looks like it's going to be happening. And it's going to be having a match between Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso, or I should say a match between the Usos taking on Solo Sikoa and Roman Reigns at Money in the Bank. And then it can further lead us to Jey Uso versus Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. I don't know. But the beauty of this whole storyline is every week it keeps us asking us these questions. It makes us ask ourselves these questions because we honestly do not know what the hell is going to be happening. And we all know Jey is the catalyst to this whole thing. Now, in regards to SummerSlam, I know a lot of people have been talking about Cody Rhodes, possibly beating Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. And honestly, I want that to happen too. But from what it looks like, this storyline is taking a turn to, the idea of Cody Rhodes challenging Roman Reigns for the championships at SummerSlam. The chances of that happening are getting slimmer and slimmer and slimmer. Like, it looks like we're not going to be having that match at SummerSlam from what it looks like, what is escalating in the storyline. And honestly, if WWE honestly is going to be having a main event for SummerSlam, I definitely see them doing Jey Uso versus Roman Reigns, because right now Roman Reigns is just in with a lot of shit regarding Bloodline stuff that I think they can't turn away from that. But then, unfortunately, it sucks for Cody Rhodes, because now we're going to have to wait a whole year, and we're going to have to wait till WrestleMania next year to have Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns. And unfortunately, when it comes to that match, we do not know how over Cody Rhodes is still going to be as we head towards WrestleMania next year. I may be wrong. I mean, right now, Cody Rhodes, and I talked about this earlier in the review, Cody Rhodes is still relatively over with the crowd. He may still relatively be over when we head towards WrestleMania next year, but we do not know for sure. And also, WWE could possibly run into a scenario in which somebody else could get so hot to the point where they overtake Cody Rhodes in terms of popularity. That exact thing happened earlier this year with Sami Zayn. And, you know, we all know what happened there. But we're just going to have to wait and see what WWE does. But nonetheless, I'm fully invested when it comes to this storyline. Jey Uso, of course, he is groomed to be the next tribal chief. And next week, Roman Reigns is going to be making his return. And hopefully that's going to be the exact night where maybe Jey Uso is probably going to be either excluded or leaves the bloodline. But he is the catalyst of this whole thing. But I genuinely do believe they're going to start with Jimmy first, and then they're going to lead to Jey. But things are getting very, very, very interesting, and I'm 100% down for it.